Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and welcome to the Cyclist Tactics. This is going to be a brand new Let's Play series in the career mode for this game. This is newly released, however, at the time that you're watching this first video, if you're watching it right upon release, it's not released just yet. It's going to come out tomorrow. Thank you to Camshaft Software and give me a key in advance on this one. I've actually been following this game for quite some time. In fact, I've been following it even more so. So the lead developer over at Camshaft happens to be a part-time YouTuber, Killrob. Killrob is somebody who was among the inspirations for me when I first started out my channel a few years back. So I've been following him for quite some time, and this game is very much born out of his fascination in cycling. Now, to me, this is a game that is board game-esque, and it reminds me a lot, though it's got different mechanics, but it still reminds me a lot of Formula D. The one thing that is totally different for me, and that I really like and I'm really looking forward to with this one, and with or without an audience, I am absolutely going to do this Let's Play, but like, comment, subscribe, please help build that audience, get that algorithm to pick this up. This is a game that deserves some recognition and some attention. That being said, I'm doing it regardless because I love the concept of a board game like a Formula D with a career mode where I can actually develop the cyclist. And I'm so looking forward to going for that ultimate challenge starting week and trying to build up and get competitive in time. It's a fun little game we've got here. Let's go ahead and jump in. I might be new to the game. I might have only been able to have enough time to play through a couple of stage races, about 10 stages in all, but between watching the dev progress along the way and through that experience, I'm suitably comfortable with the game. And why would I do anything other than go for the ultimate challenge? Because that's what I like to do on this channel. So let's go ahead and take on hard. Starting level 2 for our cyclist potential, 11 team XP gain and salary set at 100%. The AI also set to tough. They can look further ahead, see what's coming, and kind of anticipate and plan. They're aggressive, they're tricky, and they're accurate. Let's go ahead and start our new career. And here's our first opening setup for our first rider, Decathlon Gamer, of course, who is a climber, level 2, potential 11. Nowhere near what is maximum, but we're going to play that hard challenge. We've set him up as a climber, so we have a +1 to climbing, no additional strength in any other attribute area. Our main stats are flat, mountain, downhill, sprint, tech and cobble sections, and then a time trialing. And you can see how right now this is our bonuses or impacts. So this is your regular race traits. We have a +1 to climbing. This is our time trialing traits. We have a +1 on flat. We have a +1 on climbing. We have minuses on tech and cobble. And then this is the various terrain types and combination types that you're going to come across. And you can see just how impactful it is. Our maximum speed with full effort and attack is this full bar. This would be recovery. This is your null and void, 0 effort, just maintain pace. This is using up energy, and then that'll be max attack. So that's what we're up against. We are starting off, of course, in the amateur league, and so we're going to be fairly on par with a lot of the league, and you can see we'll be a little bit better in climbing than some of the others. In terms of my distribution of attribute points for our health status, our physical, our stamina side of things, I've chosen to go with higher energy, lower attack, and then a little bit better recovery, which is going to allow us to develop more into a stage racer in time. All right, the career mode is something just recently added to the game, so I haven't had a chance to get in and delve into it. I've only done the race mode so far. I'm just as much into the tutorial as you might be at this point, so I'm going to go ahead and utilize that and check it out. And we begin with a Peter Sagan-esque character. Hello again. I expected you would go down this path sooner or later. And you're right. When no team picks you up, why not start your own? It's a bold move and certainly a big challenge. So you begin your career at the bottom of Amateur League as both a rider and the team manager before the start of the season. Your first tasks will be to build your team and plan out the season. Preseason checklist helps you keep track of that. Hover over each checklist items info field to get a summary of what needs to be considered and taken care of. Take your time and look around. I'm sure you'll figure it out. When everything is set up and you're ready, start the season. Best of luck with all this. I'll see you in the Pro League soon enough. All right, one-man team obviously is not going to be enough. We're going to have to hire some riders, but here's what we're looking at. We're going to bring in 4,500. My salary is just 11.7% of our overall, so we still have plenty of money to play with to bring in some others. But it's not just going to come down to salaries. Hotels, travel are going to be added into our cost, and then we're going to have that remaining balance after that. It looks like we're going to get money back. This is about prestige points and kind of where we're at on what our value is. It looks like we can go all the way down to about 20% of our balance before we are penalized or punished by our sponsor. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. So the salary is not just base, it is impacted. So you can see my rider salary is 500, but we have rider potential impacts the salary, and then we have rider age, and then that is what sets our overall rider salary. Interesting. Okay. Simple mechanic, and I understand it. I like how that contract is going to work out for us because we'll be able to see that in the riders we go after. All right, we get the option to choose our sponsor goals. Funding this year, though, is locked in on Pathetic. I cannot change that. However, the focus can be national, balanced, or international. The expectations can go for low, average, or high. And to make them happy, you got to get points into this type of range. I've already kind of discovered you can mess around with it and you can get points. You can get the expectations relatively easy. However, I played on regular difficulty in my warm-up races, so we'll see how that goes. It does impact your funding as a result, though, but only marginally. I think we'll stick with average for now, at least first looking. Preseason checklist. Okay, sponsor settings, race selection, roster changes, rider sign-up, fitness planning, and financial planning. Okay, those are the things we need to do. It's season number 1 in the Amateur League. We are ranked 44th out of 44 teams. But the sponsor is happy. Scouting is done on what I believe is a yearly basis. And so what we have scouted is these 8 riders. These are our choices to then join our team leader. It looks like we'll need to decide at least 3, and maybe we get a 4th. But probably not the 5th. I don't think we need to fill all 6 slots for now. What we've got to watch out for is the finances involved. We can't just go after the 3 best, as we cannot afford the 3 best. So we're going to have to kind of pick and choose. I want to save a decent amount of this money going forward because we're going to have travel involved in those team finances. And I don't know what kind of earnings we're going to get as weak as we likely are starting out. So at most, I would think 3,000, but probably less. So we could most likely afford 1 of these 3 and then get 2 or 3 of these weaker riders down here more as placeholders in this first season. All right, I'm going to start with the young rookie, Iker Ruiz, who's only a level 1 and only a max potential of level 3, so he's not going to do great. But we could use him as our Berdur or Domestique. Yeah, and there's no replacement filling in for him. Okay. Gabriel Diaz is somebody I'm looking at as he's got some room for growth. He's only 21. We also have this one down here who's actually on the verge of leveling up. And it's probably going to be better off in a very short amount of time. And then Diaz. Ooh, looks like I can only get 1 at a time. Alright, so we have our weaker selections for now. All with a little bit of development potential. It's not great, but they're very, very affordable for us. And this is going to give us the money to go after 1 solid rider to kind of rely on for the year. So who's going to help us the most in that? We have a couple downhill experts. That's not good. We do have one that's mountain level 1 and flat level 1. That could be a decent combo. Michelle Ferraro. I love their energy. They do have some attack. Rest is not great. But I think this is going to be good. Alright, so there is our starting team. We have one single team leader and then 4 domestiques, which is going to make life difficult. We'll have to rely on that one heavily in this first season. But we really don't need a lot. And this is going to help us with that balance, I think. And a quick look at the overview of our attribute bonuses as a squad. You can see we have 1 flat, we have 2 riders with 1 mountain. And then that's about it. There's no time trialing. So you would think at least early in the season, we want flat and climbing stages. That's the only place we're going to have a bonus, and that's where our leaders are. Alright, so you get 8 races per season. And then you have starred or targeted sponsor objectives, and that depends on your expectations from your sponsor. And so it does change as you change the expectations. Also, the 1-star are the amateur league ones, 2-star are mixed, and so we have just one mixed league event that we're going to participate in, and that's because it's targeted. Otherwise, everything we're going to do this season is going to be amateur. I think we're going to really struggle in that targeted one, but we'll do what we can with it. I've got my rider sign up and my fitness planning for the year. So I've got each rider sign up for 5 races out of the 8 that are possible. You can have up to 4 riders in one race. We've got a few races where we'll have just 3, but the rest all have 4. I've also spread out our fitness peaks so that there's at least somebody on some type of fitness peak for each and every race. And each rider gets 2 fitness peaks. 1 minor fitness peak that is just for the month, and then you've got some fatigue the following month. And then a major fitness peak, which has a minor the month before, a major the month 4, and that rest period the following month. So we've got that spread out, and I've got it spread out in such a way that nobody is going to have a bad month when racing. So we'll see how that works out for us in this first season. If those little bonuses can make a bit of a difference. Of course, only a single race on the calendar is that mixed league one. That's going to be a little bit tougher competition. We only have 3 stage races, 2 4-stage races, and then a 7-stage race. The rest are all classics. I think that could help us maneuver this first season a little bit faster. But with that, we are ready to open our very first season. Upon further review, you could actually have 9 races per year, and it looks like I didn't recognize this at first, but instead of the calendar working across, which it does in a way, it works down. There are 3 races in February from which you're choosing one. There are 3 in March from which you can choose one, April, May. So each month has a choice. So we could have picked one or either of these 2 May races or the August races. The ones in red are already filled, so it's only the ones in green that we could have actually picked from, but that's good to know going forward. And we've made it to our first race. This is just low-level, amateur level, so that gives us a shot. And Michel Ferraro, even though he's only level 5 out of the 12 levels, or 14 levels, whatever it is, 14? Anyway, level 5 is not good, but with even just a single climbing attribute point, it's going to give us a slight chance. And you can see he's actually among the favorites, technically. We'll see what we can do with that, but yeah, I like our chances. Now, this is a 4-stage race, so we do need to manage our effort because recovery becomes a huge thing in overall position. You can't just throw everything into the first stage and go all out. Otherwise, you're not going to have anything for the stages to come. It very much has an impact, especially with low-level riders such as what we are beginning with. Stage 1, Length is 294 units. It's a hilltop finish. There are 2 climbs. I like the layout here. I like what that could do for Ferraro and for my character. We'll see what happens as we go forward. You can see their rest levels are not very good, but they could be worse. And Ferraro's starting with a max 99 on energy for this first one. So they've got a decent chance, and they've got a little bit of attack as well. Let's get to it. All right, and here is our game board. Now, this is set up in token spaces, so each of these are moving one place, or our 294 units that we have to get to the end of the stage. There's going to be 294 of these along the way. Now, the 12 is how many free spaces of movement you get from the place where you are located currently. So where you're picking to go is really important. For example, if we were to go right here, this 12 on our next turn, we'd have 12 free movement from there. If we went one spot further, we're only going to get 10 free movement, which means even though we're one spot further along, we're actually going to get one spot less further along the next turn. So you do want to aim for advantageous positions. Now, the numerical set of what you're getting here is dependent on the terrain and the riders involved. It's a flat, slightly downhill, 2% down gradient, and so you can see what is impacting the overall slipstream is definitely a modifier, so you don't always want to be out front. And early on, I think we're going to do a lot of following until we see how others are. Here is the peloton and your position within the peloton, and you're always confirming. There's kind of 2 stages to each turn. You're confirming your position within the peloton or the group, and then you're confirming where you go. And then if there's sprints involved, you'll confirm that as a 3rd stage, but only when there's a mountain classification or a sprint point or a finish line. I'm okay with our position, even though one of my riders, Diaz, is out front, and he is my sprinter, but it's not a sprint stage, so that's okay. A little bit further back, Ferraro near the front. I'm happy with that, but I don't want him too far forward early on, so we're actually going to go ahead and let's just fall back deeper into the peloton for him to conserve energy. All right, so our first character, Diaz, and this is always in order from front to back along the peloton, so it's always important to note. What we have here is our free movement, and you can see we have 0. That is color-coded energy. So if we move to here, it'll use up 0 of our energy. If we go to here, it's going to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You see how it gets stronger and stronger. But thanks to Slipstream here, which is where the first 8 riders have all gone, currently it's being called E1, but it also looks like the peloton is planning on moving to there, we'll use up 5. That's a lot, but it is a relatively short stage, and we don't want to be getting dropped literally on the first turn. So we're going to use 5, and thanks to the slipstream, you can see how it's using 3 less than what it could use. We're going to go ahead and move to there. And the others, it's going to be different amounts based on their attributes. You can see it's costing us 6 for Ruiz to move to that same place. It looks like the entire peloton, which is just 31 riders. It's a pretty small group. Here you have your first small hill, okay, and there's some choices involved. This is an easy move, which gives you a lot of movement going forward, and you can almost bypass this entire hill. Let's see, 3, 6, 9, 11 nodes will get you to there. So actually, no, it would be quite a bit. That's your free movement. Then you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And not all the guys are going to be able to move 9 places. So there's going to be attack movement involved. So if 5 or 6 is your max, you're looking at using up to 4 attack to bypass this whole hill if you were to go there. That's a safe move in the first place, but the whole group has moved to here. Now the reason why they do that, that's 7 energy and 1 attack move. If you're in the 4, that's hilly, you're not going to get a lot of movement on the next turn. But jumping all the way to the 7 means you're only actually losing 4 from what you have here. And 4 units, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 nodes only gets you this far in the free movement, meaning it's 5 nodes further along. So I can see why the group has opted to kind of hit the halfway point on the hill, where you get a little bit of a false flat in here, and that's why you get more movement, and then it gets steeper again. You can see right here, mountain 7%, mountain 3%, and then 7%. Well, anyway, enough of the explanation. It looks like we will be hitting the downhill on the next turn, and I think we're going to have to kind of suck it up and follow the group. Ooh, oh, I like this. Okay, so you can see how we have green this time as we're going through this downhill, which this is a weird place to choose, but it's all about slipstream, because you can see green is back here. That's rest, that's recovery, that's getting energy back, and we've already burnt through quite a bit of energy. That's a no movement. This would be a 1. You can see where we're at. It should be a 1, but thanks to the slipstream, it's actually a rest and recover 3, which is the most you can get on a turn for Diaz. That's a great thing. Or we could jump, but that's going to cost us energy, and Diaz really just doesn't have much. So Ruiz also recovering. Nice. Everybody getting a little recovery on this downhill sector. Ooh, okay. Bold move for the break, as they have pushed past this short little hill onto the descent following it, and they've actually now pushed one full unit, one full turn ahead of the peloton, so they are opening things up a little bit. But meanwhile, they had to push pretty hard for that. I'm sure they used a fair bit of energy, but at this level you can't afford to use a whole lot of extra energy, as you tend to not have a whole lot to spare. Peloton intact, nobody getting dropped. That'll start to happen when we hit the 2 hills at the end. Okay, Peloton pushing on a little bit harder than I expected them to. Diaz, it's going to use 1 attack point, but he's got some to spare as he's a sprinter. Ruiz, this is going to hurt him, but you really can't afford to get dropped this early in the stage. Oh, that's not good. It's using up mine as well. Ferraro's fine, it's only using 1 attack energy. That's the orange. Okay, we're also hitting the point where I think on this next turn we're gonna have to start moving up just a little bit. That was a good decision. Hitting the bottom edge of the hill, you're gonna get a lot of free movement on the next turn. Alright, breakaway pushing halfway up the hill, and we go exactly where I expected us to, though I thought maybe this spot. We are exactly 1 full turn behind the break at this point. It's just going to make it a little bit harder to catch up to them. But their energy consumption's been much higher, and you can see how Diaz is struggling. Guaranteed the 3 in the break are probably struggling similarly. Oh, what happened? Oh, there's a big push way up here. Oh, I missed that. I did not see that. Oh, that's not good. Peloton pushed further ahead, and usually the game gives you the option when it sees a group push further ahead. It gives you the option to reassess and move up and join the group. And that didn't happen here, and we just missed a little split. We're going to have to now push. I'm going to have to burn Diaz to lead this out. That's not a good thing. Yeah, I screwed that one up. Breakaway getting over the hill. They're going to get max points through the KOM, so we don't have to worry about that, but we need to catch up to the peloton. No, actually it wouldn't be. That was somebody who was ahead of us, so that is gaining some ground by here. Let's go ahead and do that. Diaz, that's using up pretty much the last of his energy. That's okay. we will burn him out for the sake of saving the race for the rest of our group. First group's crossing the line, and we've totally missed out on that move. I'm so ashamed of myself here. Okay, Ruiz, this is as far as he can get. Take the 5 for him. I think we're gonna leave him behind ultimately. Diaz has nothing left, so he's just gonna actually start to go into recovery mode. Give him 1 back and give him a little further movement up the hill, but there you go. These guys need to push, make up some ground. Do we want to full-on attack with Ferraro? No, we're not thinking about GC. We're going to have to now focus on the stages to come. We've already lost the time, so we might as well just play it smart the rest of this stage and conserve some energy. Well, we are the newbies, and we come in looking like newbies as we finished 22nd out of 31, and that was the highest of our 4 finishers, so we're very much at the back, and we are also Lanterne Rouge, at least at the time being, with last place overall in Gabriel Diaz. But that's the nature of the beast. It happens. There's your thing. At this point, we have no points for our season performance for the sponsor, but we'll work on it. We'll get there. Stage 2 looks much more favorable for something as you start right away with a big climb, which is going to split the group. And my 2 guys, I'm going to worry about Ruiz and Diaz on getting time cut. But I think our other 2 could be at a very strong position as you head into then a final climb. We got 2 climbs and finish on a little bit of a descent. Slight downhill. It'll be interesting. Now, the great news on this one is that through that conservation, Ferraro back to 99 energy as we played it smart. We saved. He's back to maximum on his attack and his energy. And for my character, almost. Right? The attack's not all there, but we're going to have a very good amount of energy still. You can see in terms of rest, they're a little bit weaker now, and they'll be much more tired after this second stage. But Ruiz and Diaz, you can see that they're struggling. They're already struggling just from the difficulty of that first stage. And some of the others really pushed to the end where we ended up going and saving that energy. And I think that's going to give us a strong chance at winning this second stage. We open right away onto this difficult hill where I think the action begins immediately. For one thing, you're only getting the 2 free movement here right at the start, and then you're getting 4, 2, 3, or into 5 eventually. So I think our next turn we're going to want to be in this 5 territory. So to get there, you can see there's 2 choices right now. We've got the peloton moving to here. For Ferraro, that's 5 effort to get there, but he could attack with these guys for 8-2, which, yes, okay, that's going to use some energy, and you're only going to get 3. However, if you think about it, 4 nodes, 1, 2, 3, 4 nodes, free, and then you're pushing into the 3 territory, and to get to a 5, that's a big push from there. Or we can make a little push right now, do the 8-2, and then you're going to get 1, 2, 3 free. And then on the next turn, it's only going to take 2 to get into there. Meaning, I think we absolutely could get in the deeper end of the 5 and be well on our way up this hill. I'm kind of thinking you have to attack a little bit on a hill. Otherwise, you can just turn squares so fast on these. Ouch. Ouch, this is using up all of her attack right away on this first climb. Do we want to drop back and... climb at my own pace? Slipstream effect is not very good with just 4 riders. I'm gonna fall back. Fall back. We just don't have the attack energy to do this. Ooh, the Peloton's only pushing to here. That's a small move. And drop back with these guys. Conserve what we can. They're just in survival mode already. Difficult mountain stage. I mean, it's 364 nodes. It's long. Last attack one. Ouch. That was our last attack point already. Peloton really falling behind though. Just not able to climb at the same rate as these 4 guys. Now, Ferraro looks good. I do not. I'm a level 2. Ferraro's a level 5. But I just have that mountain bonus, so you can really see the vast difference between the two of them. But this will get us over the top. And they've pushed to here. I want Ferraro... use a couple of attack points to get the King of the Mountain points. So that's going to be really, really good for our chances. Ruiz does not, though. That's a big effort for not much reward. Maybe if we go to about here, we're looking at almost getting there on the next turn. There's 10 riders behind us, so we'll get picked up by a group. In fact, we're already getting picked up by a group. There you go. This red line, though. That's the time cut. That's what we gotta watch out for those two. And while these two, strongly looking like they could be headed to a top 4 in the stage. They are flying away from the peloton at this point, which is very small. Big push here in the break to get us over the top of this short little hill. It's definitely going to cost us some energy, and actually I'm not going to make it. I have no attack left, and I could only use 5 energy, which is only going to get me to here, so I can't make it. I'm getting... For my character, I have 2 options, really, because the first group, they've gone ahead, they're pulling further away. I can push into the 14s, which will use 3 energy, which isn't bad. Or I can actually drop off, save a little bit of energy, get a little bit of rest and recovery in, and actually link up with the peloton and ride with them, and then on the climb, possibly ride away again. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And so we begin the final climb. There's a little bit of a flat section in the early stages, so you think the official climb might start back here, but we're definitely beginning our ascent. With just 3 riders left in the front, we've still got a real shot at a podium, and then of course, for my character, I'm not that far behind as just a level 2. And by not pushing just yet on the climb, 2 of the 8 riders left in the peloton have pushed up, made contact with our 3 front riders. 2 are then caught in between. There's what's left of the peloton, including my character, who's gotten back in contact with the remnants of the group. So here's now your contenders. Just like that, 5 has become 2, and we have the opportunity now to really ride on, because the rider we were with has only gone to here, where I think we could push all the way to the edge of the 4 and still have a decent amount of energy to continue on. And the top of the climb's right there. So we're going to do that. Or do we want to bypass all the way to here? Let's do it. Let's go for the attack. Full attack. First over the top for the second climb in a row. I've claimed maximum points. It's going to give me the King of the Mountains lead. And at this point, there's only 1 rider anywhere near me on the mountain, and they're a full turn behind. So we can push for that finish line and probably win this thing quite comfortably at this point. And I think we need to just go full attack mode to do that. Next stage is a sprint stage. Let's get across that line first. But you know what? Let's just get across the line first. We'll use some energy here. There you go. We could cross the line this turn for just 2 attack energy. Let's go ahead and do it. And there's a stage win. Our first. So after the blunder of the first stage, we really make up for it here in stage number 2 with a very comfortable win. That's going to move us way up the order, by the way. With a half-minute lead over second place, as it goes full decimal point instead of seconds on the way it's calculated. Half-minute lead over Frank Washington, that's comfortable, but the most important thing is roughly 2 minutes over third place, which moves me way up the order. The leader's jersey, Frank Washington, who finished second, is now the leader, but Ferraro sits second overall. Also has the sprint jersey lead and a huge mountain jersey lead, 9 points ahead of second place. Iker Ruiz still right at the back in the Lantern Rouge, 31st out of 31. Gabriel Diaz just 2 spots ahead of him. Those two really struggling as level 1s. Just so weak. You can see now heading into the 3rd stage, which we're not going to do right now. A lot less energy. We're starting to get nothing for these guys, so they're only rebounding a little bit. And these two also very tired. But because of the rest, they're getting weaker as the race goes on, but they're starting from such a higher place. It makes a huge difference. Ruiz is just so ridiculously weak, as is Diaz. And so these guys just have no energy, and that's why you need energy almost more than anything else. You don't have to be great, but if you just flat run out of energy and you're turning squares, that's where you lose tons of time and end up missing time cuts. But we're on our way to earning a really good evaluation for this race, currently anyway, as we have the lead in the points and the KOM, and we got a podium, and we're sitting 2nd overall. That combination of points already gives us a 130 on the sponsor prestige, which they're looking for a 103 plus for the season, and we've already got that right now after just 2 stages. We'll see if we can hang on to that, but this is with the hard difficulty, so it is possible. But as for the overall, yeah, I don't know about that one. This stage, though, is going to be a lot harder now that we've expended some energy. Anyway, thanks for tuning in to this first look. Like, comment, subscribe. I really want to have this be a regular series for a long time coming, because I really like the idea of developing, and it's a numbers game. I like numbers games. I grew up playing numbers games. It's very similar to a board game, but it's very accessible. It's really easy to pick up and learn. You don't have to have a major understanding of numbers to get a good firm grasp on this game pretty quickly. It's simple, but it's in depth just enough to really give you that hook. It's pretty addicting. I'm Decathlon Gabriel. Thanks for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe. See you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.